This podcast episode might make you hungry. Tune in to hear more. Hi, and welcome to From Art to Zine, the creative podcast from Claude Designs. My name is Claude, and I'm going to talk about some cool stuff.
Okay, but why though? Why are you making a podcast?
So today I'm going to talk about that, actually. There's a lot of really cool branding, marketing, graphic design, comic art, and other creative podcasts already. But a lot of what I believe falls in with the idea that everyone should have their own take on something important to them. These creative services just so happen to be important to me. I believe in ultimate accessibility to these crafts, among others. If you recall on the Claude Designs episode of Every Damn Day, the show run by Jerry Norris of The Fledge, there's also that whole two cakes analogy. By the way, if you haven't seen that show, I highly recommend it.
Is that the meme where the audience goes, "Holy shit, 2 cakes?" after a disappointed artist sets down a lopsided cake next to a fanciful tall one?
Yes, that one exactly. The meaning behind that comic or meme is that artists shouldn't necessarily quit doing something just because other people are doing it. Plus, a lot of people work really hard to separate art and graphic design, art and marketing, art and comics, as it should be. They're totally separate crafts with their own nuances and stuff. It just so happens that I enjoy all of them. So you're going to hear a lot about this stuff during this podcast.
A lot of people don't think that just anyone can start a podcast. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I'd started believing it at first. I had a lot of naysayers who thought I was being too crazy, and I won't get into that right now. And there were some folks who thought my personality might either be, too much or not enough. But I really, really wanted to try this because I thought it would be fun. And as Stu McLaren and I'm sure other people have said, you have to throw spaghetti at the wall and study what sticks. I thought perhaps enthusiasm might win out over any negativity. So I posted my question in an anonymous group. The support for my podcast idea was absolutely overwhelming, even knowing it was about marketing of all things.
Hold on, what's so bad about marketing?
Nothing.
But you just said...
Yes, marketing definitely has this negative perception. Even people who need marketing in their lives, because most everyone does, complain that it can be like nailing jello to a tree. But marketing, much like graphic design, is a tool, and it's a hell of a powerful one. And tools, unfortunately, have the capacity to be used for evil. Really often. Too often. Part of why I wanted to start a podcast in the first place was to combat this perception of the craft, and marketers who think it's okay to scam people. Boo!
Okay, but isn't podcasting kind of expensive?
It really doesn't have to be. I reached out to quite a few people on making my own podcast prior to starting From Art to Zine, and I got some wonderful answers back. Here's one tip on equipment that I can pass on from these nice folks to you. You can really just start with a quality mic. I know with Pat Flynn's guide to starting a podcast on YouTube, he recommended some software you can use that's totally free. I'm going to be flip-flopping between Mac and PC, so I'll probably use Audacity, which, again, is free. I began hosting on Anchor, which is free and has some nice features. So here's my quick answer. This will run you about $100 or so.
What if nobody wants to hear what you have to say?
I don't really think that has to be a big deal. Even if your podcast totally bombs, there will not only be a host of tools at your disposal that will work with other purposes, not only will there be memories you've made, but you'll always have at least one true fan of your work.
Okay, but there's already a lot of other great podcasts. Why should you make one?
2 cakes for the audience, baby!
How would someone even get started? Got any tips?
The thing that really helped me was just to get started. Of course, I did some research first and asked around. Thanks to everyone who I spoke to and asked for being so kind. And as I said to Jerry and the Fledglings, you just have to keep creating. So now that I've debunked some podcast myths, we're poised to begin the next episode. Please follow From Art to Zine on your favorite program, and rate and review if you can. Thanks very much, and see you next time.